Welcome, friends. Today, we are doing another perfume review. Sensational. That is right, my friends. Once again, I have returned to you, this time with another perfume review. And the perfume we are reviewing today is Noire Epices by Frederic Malle. This perfume review will follow my tried and trusty technique of telling you the notes, telling you which notes I get, and then just discussing the perfume at length until I have discussed the perfume to my own satisfaction. Okay, so the notes for this are rose, orange, geranium, nutmeg, cloves, pepper, cinnamon, sandalwood, cedar, vanilla, and patchouli. The notes I get the most are rose, nutmeg, cloves, and something a little balsamic, which doesn't seem to be in the notes. I get something a little bit resinous, but we'll talk about that, and we'll talk about it now. On the Frederic Malle website, the description is as follows. An abstract, mysterious fragrance, Noire Epices, is a bouquet of spices by Michel Rudnitsky, son of Edmund Rudnitsky. I'll come on to this in a minute. A sumptuous bouquet of spices on a twilight base of precious woods, sandalwood with a velvety effect and an exotic patchouli, evocative of faraway places. Like a breath of light, the first notes of orange and geranium create a chiaroscuro effect and bring new life to this abstract painting. With a composition like a Rothko canvas, Noire Epices reveals layer after layer of darker, deeper colours, with infinitely mysterious shades. On the skin, the scent evokes a captivating black shimmering with golden reflections as deep as the night. Orange, geranium, spices, sandalwood, and patchouli, according to the website. Now, the perfumer for this perfume is Michel Rudnitsky, and that is actually quite important. Excuse me whilst I hydrate, because in this perfume, Michel Rudnitsky channels some of his father's last and most enduring works. Two separate things there. Diorella and Mario Valentino's Ocean Rain. Now, it doesn't have ozonic notes, it doesn't have cologne, it doesn't have any of that sort of thing. What it does have in the base is that balsamic, resinous, sweet kind of vibe. But at the top, it starts off like the Christmas spice thing, orange cloves. You get that blast of dryness, the vintage sweets that were made of clove, very, very clovey, reminds you of Heaven Can Wait. I'm not sure why Heaven Can Wait and Noire Epices are in the same line. Yes, they are different, but they are also very similar. It's dark, it's a little fruity. The fruitiness is helped on by the rose. The rose is very, very, very evocative of his dad. His dad used it in things like Diorella. I'm praying it's Diorella, because I always get all those Diorella, Diorissimo, Diorama things mixed up. I'm sure it's Diorella. It just lurks in the background, that kind of balsamic sort of orange. A balsamic orange, two more different things you couldn't get, but it has the genetics, the Rudnitsky genetics in there. By the way, the picture of Michel Rudnitsky on The Frederic Malle website is one of the most filthy haircuts you will see on a man in the last 30 years. The haircut is outrageous. Straight out of like a Lego set. It's crazy shit. Anyway, the perfume. Very, very clovey, to the point where it almost numbs your tongue. Like, as if it's like a reflex, you know? Very kind of spicy, ghostly, dry kind of vibe. We all know that clove eugenol kind of thing. A hugely popular note in perfume. I'm not sure they use it anymore, if I'm being perfectly honest. Maybe in very dilute forms, but you never smell it. But it was a staple because they always used to mix it with nutmeg. Nutmeg in here as well. Very kind of reminiscent of vintage perfumes. You had a lot of it going on in the 80s and the 70s. Very masculine, very powerful, dark, brooding, dry, nutty kind of vibe. Saw it a lot in things like Vetiver by Guerlain, Derby by Guerlain, vintage masculine perfumes, you know. Nutmeg was always a big staple in there, and it's quite a big staple in here too. Starts off with that orange, rosy geranium. They kind of boil away quite quickly. You're left with this very peppery clove, dry, spicy, masculine thing, and it's very impressive. It's very impressive. You can see Malle setting his stall out, because this was one of the original releases from the line, released in 2000. Him setting his stall out straight away with things like Noire Epices and Angélique Sous la Pluie, Iris Poudre, Parfum de Thérèse, which I think was a Rudnitska as well, Musc Ravageur, obviously this, Noire Epices, Eau de Fleur de Cassis, I think they were all the originals. A very bold lineup, very different from what was going on in 2000 in perfume, you know. I always thought Portrait of a Lady was one of the originals, but it didn't come out till 2010. Unusual. It's like the Mandela effect, isn't it? Anyway, further into the perfume, you start to get parts of the sandalwood and parts of the patchouli come in, but they're both very dry. I find it very dry. I found this almost caustically dry, like it's gonna burn you, like an acid burn, you know. Not something I ever enjoyed, I must admit. I thought I would challenge myself when I bought this. I got this for a really, really good price, actually, but it's a very old bottle. This is a pre-lauder, but a post matte cap version. So they changed. I don't know if you can see that the batch code there is actually 8 digits, right? And they had that before Estee Lauder took over. Estee Lauder always has 3 digits, 1 letter, and 2 numbers. So this is pre Estee Lauder, but it is post matte cap. In 2014, 2015, Malle is quoted as saying, if the new regulations come in 2015, then my brand is finished. I believe he made the decision at the time to basically just say bye to perfume. And it didn't come true until 2023, which is a shame. Anyway, it's a good perfume. A little bit too dry for me, a little bit caustic. And I'm not a big fan of clove. Thank you very much for watching, everyone. And I will see you all again soon.